Okay, let's look at some examples from this lesson. The first one is asking us to use a protractor. It says, what is the measure of angle MLP? So remember that the middle letter is the vertex. Let's make that a little bit smaller so we can see it better. There we go. And the vertex, when you're using a protractor, always goes right there at the center where the vertex, where all the angles meet up. Okay, so then we have to find the angle MLP. It starts with M, goes to P, and then, or goes to L and then turns to P. So M to L, and it turns and it goes to P. So then the next question you ask yourself is, does this look obtuse or acute? So we're talking about this angle right here. This looks obtuse, which is bigger than 90 degrees. So that means when we come up here and we look at the angle that this is sitting at, it should be the one that's bigger than 90 degrees. So if I picked this number, that's less than 90 degrees, so we don't want that. So this one looks like it's 110, here's 115, 116, so let's call that 117. So this is 117 degrees. So remember, this was a thought right here. We were thinking, is it bigger than or less than 90? So let's look at the next one. What is the measure of QLP? So start at Q, go to L, up to P. So let's think about this one. What do we think about this one? Does this one look bigger than 90 or less than 90? So this one would be acute because it is less than 90 degrees. So that means when we're looking at our number up here, we're wanting to find the number that is less than 90 degrees. So we wouldn't want to use this one because that's between 110 and 120. So we're going to use this one. Now we count as going this direction, so that's 61, 62, 63. So we'll come down here and we'll say that's 63 degrees. Okay, so for this last one, MLQ. MLQ is one of those special angles because it goes all the way across. It creates a straight line. So this is called a straight angle. And a straight angle equals 180 degrees. And we can see that it goes from here all the way around to 180 degrees. Or if you started here, it would go all the way around to 180 degrees. And that was our thought process right there. Okay, so for this next example, the measure of QUS, so this whole piece right here, is 57 degrees. So this is going to require us to think a little bit. The measure of angle QUT, so that's this whole angle right here. So let's change colors. QUT is 74 degrees. And the measure of angle RUS, so just that small angle right there, is 22 degrees. It wants to know what is the measure of QUR. So we're going to have to use the angle addition property to figure this out. So if we are looking at QUS, we know that that equals 57. So if we take this angle plus this angle, it should equal the whole angle. So we're going to say x plus 22 should equal 57. And now when we subtract 22 from both sides, that means x should be equal to 35 degrees. Whoops, we want to keep that. Okay, now let's look at the next one. What is the measure of angle SUT? So in this case, it's y. The measure of angle SUT can be thought of a couple of ways. So here's how I look at it. If I take 57 plus y, I would equal the whole thing of 74. So 57 plus y equals 74. You could also say, you know, this is 35, and you could say 35 plus 22 plus y equals 74. That's another way to look at this problem. Oops, equals 74. So let's subtract 57 from both sides. So y equals 17 degrees. Okay, and the reason I put not drawn to scale is because I don't want you trying to use your protractor on that, because this one, since it's not drawn to scale, this may not actually be 17 degrees right here, but it's as close as we could get. If the measure of angle VSY is 137 degrees, so let's put a 1 in front of this because I think it got hidden behind the text box. What is the measure of angle ESR? So we want the measure of angle ESR. Oh, I read it wrong. VSY. Let's erase that and read it again. The measure of angle VSY is 137 degrees. So that is this big angle. There we go. Now we're on the right page. And it wants to know what the measure of this angle right here is. Well, these marks, if you recall, these marks mean congruent. And congruent means that their measurements are the same. So since these are congruent, I can say that angle RSY is also 37 degrees. So I know that 37 plus x plus 37 equals 137. So if I subtract 37, that's 100. And then if I subtract 37 again, and I don't have a calculator with me, so I'm just using mental math and making it a little bit easier here. So that would be 63. So the measure of angle ESR would be 63 degrees. Okay, so let's look at this last one. In the image, the measure of angle ABC is 156 degrees. So let's find ABC. It's the whole angle, and it says the whole angle is 156 degrees. It says solve for the value of x and then find the measure of each angle. So to solve for the value of x, we are going to have to use the angle addition postulate. We're going to have to say 7x plus 5 plus 8x minus 2 equals 156 degrees. Let's add some like terms. And now let's subtract 3 from both sides. So 15x equals 153. And that's going to give us a decimal. So x is 10.2. So that's the first thing they ask us to do is solve for x. And now it wants us to find the measure of angle ABD. Well, ABD is this angle here, and that is 7x plus 5. So 7, substitute in what x is, 10.2, plus 5. So the measure of angle ABD is 76.4. And yes, it's definitely okay to use your calculator with this. And then angle DBC, that's hard to see. Let's pick a different color. DBC is this angle right here. So the measure of angle DBC is 8x minus 2. So we're going to substitute in the x again. So 10.2 times 8 minus 2. So the measure of angle DBC is 79.6. So we can do a quick check and make sure that we didn't mess up. So let's check, because this angle plus this angle should equal that. So let's see if that works. Whoops, went too far. So check, 76.4 plus 79.6 should equal 156. And it does. So that means that we completed it correctly.